Hey, how you doing? I hope you're well. I'm Diana and welcome to my channel. Welcome to September and possibly the slowest start to any reading month, especially a reading month where I have a crazy number of reading plans. So it's now the 5th of September and I have read one book. I think I've been feeling significantly just a little burnt out. Work's calmed down but also got a little crazy. I normally don't dress this fancy-ish, but I had an interview today, so I figured why waste good makeup when I could just give you a little update of what I've been doing. So start of September, I've immediately abandoned reading plans and adjusted things just based on the fact that I'm a little bit behind. So I have completed one book, which was When He Takes by Gabriella Sanz, which is the second book in her Fallen Gods duet, which is Nero's story, and it was so good. I think Nero might be my favorite hero that she's written. We had a betrayal and everything from the first book in the duet and the way it kind of wrapped up, and I think she did a fantastic job in her Fallen series. All the heroines and the heroes are in the mafia, so the girls have all grown up with their family in the mob and they have kind of been groomed. Apologies if you can hear some extra talking. Hayden is home today and he is playing Xbox in the other room, and I think he doesn't realize exactly how loud he's talking through the headset. But anyway, so all of the ladies are part of the mob. Their family are part of the mob, so they've kind of been groomed and are very much, to an extent, aware of the dealings and the comings and goings and what they're getting themselves into, even if there's been a lot of arranged marriages. Where Blake, on the other hand, she's a normal girl. She had to drop out of college to take care of a very sick mother. She's been in this small town in Missouri, has a negative connotation towards crime families because her dad was a bikie, and she's just been, you know, living in this small town, saving pennies to try and escape. And I think Gabrielle did a fantastic job of highlighting the kind of moral conundrums. I don't know why that was the first word that came to mind, but those kind of like moral questions you have about, you know, she had a very black and white look at the world. People are good or they're bad. And then Nero comes in and he is good to his core. Like, he treats her with respect better than any boyfriend she's ever had. And, you know, he can provide for her, and he's, if touched a little overbearing, he is doing his best to, you know, listen to her and help her make her own decisions and stuff like that. But at the same time, he was a consigliere for the Masserio family, and I probably said that all wrong, and his nickname is the Angel of Death. Like, this man is a killer and he is kind of addicted, or he misses his life. So I think she did a fantastic job of exploring that, and just exploring like in that kind of grey tone about how Blake is going to live with that. And it was beautiful, it was wonderful. I think, and I'm hoping, Gabrielle, not that you'd ever watch this, but if we could please have an Alessandro book like right away, that would be great. I think we're going to go to the Ferrero. That would be the next camp I think we've gone with. So Alessandro, but knowing her, she'll probably, you know, tease us all, and he's going to be like the the final book in this series. But we have the Ferrero brothers. Possibly the next one would be, what's his name? There's an arranged marriage between Raphael's sister and the heir apparent of the Ferrero clan. So that would be very exciting. And we got some more political intrigue because the Bratva are trying to move in. So, you know, they're having to work together. And yeah, it was just so good. With Gabriella, she does a great mafia romance. I am like morbidly fascinated with the mafia, and I've done a lot of research, especially into the origin of the Costa Nostra. And I think she does a fantastic job of illustrating that. And if she has some insider connections, I wouldn't be too surprised. So if you're into a mafia romance, highly recommend Gabriella Sanz if you haven't picked it up. Would recommend starting with the Fallen series, and When She Unravels is the first book, and it is so good. Set in Ibiza. Amazing. That's new to my TBR. I will do like a full review, and any reviews I have for these books, I will link them down below. Although I have been, I don't know, maybe creatively burnt out would be the way to do it. I'm so far behind on my reviews. I think this month I do have some time off coming up, which I've got some cool stuff planned, and I'm going to do a whole vlog on my days off. So you'll be able to see what I'm up to, but I might do like a challenge, like spin a wheel decides how many hours I read for the day, or swapping my screen time for phone time. Swapping my screen time for reading time, something like that. But I am also going to Halls Gap. So anyway, this month I've been trying to get my life together. My chronic pain stuff has been like lessening, so I need to work on some like exercisey stuff. So that's been happening. My sleeping patterns has kind of come, you don't really care, but my sleeping patterns have kind of calmed down, so I am waking up a little bit earlier than I normally would. And the last few days I've just been using it as reading time because I feel like I don't have enough reading time, but I might switch it over and try and get some writing time. I just think I'm in a bit of a writing block, and even though I've read like 2 back-to-back books that have just been absolutely fantastic that I need to write reviews for, I'm just feeling a little bit like I can't words onto page properly. So I've taken a little break from posting and stuff, so maybe I can get back into it again. The fact that I've had my interview today, it's all done, it's all sorted, it's in the lap of the gods right now, so I'm just gonna try and focus. So anyway, all that to say is that I swapped out a prompt. I will try and get to it, whatever book I had put down there, but this is going to get me some points for the romance readathon. I put that through, it was like 400 pages, so you get points per page, and then it wasn't a my team trope because I'm repping for the team ballet dancers, but it was a trope that was chosen. I think I put it down as enemies to lovers, and then it was a romance, so I got extra points for that, and it was also a 5-star. So I think I get extra points for that. And yeah, so that happened. But for the magical readathon, I am going to use this as my ordinary class for shapeshifting, which was jewelry on the cover. And as you can see, there's a ring and some pearls, I guess, so it counts. I did pick up Pucking Ever After Volume 1 by Emily Rath. I needed something fun, something sweet, something short. I don't know about you, but I feel like I'm behind in my reading because I've only read 1 book and it's like the 5th. So doing this little novella will be a great way to like kick up the reading speed. And that's going to get me an O for astronomy, which is to read a book that was released in your birth month. And this was released in April. It's only a novella, so I think it's like under 130 pages. So I'm not going to get too many points for the romance readathon, but it is a why choose, because it focuses on Rachel, Jake, Imari, and Clay. So that'll give me some extra points there. And again, just good motivation. And it's also bonus. It is a continuation of a series. So it is the book 1.5 in the Jacksonville Rays series. So that'll be great. Non-like readathon book. I don't think I can squeeze this in anywhere. I am almost done with my audiobook, which is Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros, and actually I'm enjoying it a lot more than I thought I would. I was really scared just based on the fact that people said the pacing was a bit off. I don't know if it's because I've been reading it over a longer period of time. It's my book that I listen to when I'm going to and from work, or if I'm walking home from work. It's a pretty decently long audiobook. Like I think the book itself is like 600-700 pages. So I've been listening to it for a while, but I don't find the pacing off. I am interested and I'm having a really fun time. So I think once I finish that, I'm going to pick up another audiobook pick, which I might pick up Her Soul to Take by Harley LaRue, mostly because I really love Harley LaRue, and that's going to be another start to a series, but I'm very excited for that. It's also going to give me the Art of Illusion prompt for a random emoji generator. But the reason I'm going to put this one up next to my audiobook pick is because it's going to unlock the prequel prompt, which is the qualifying I need for Art of Illusion. And for that one, I wanted to read E.P. Barley's Her Vicious Beasts, I think it's called. Hold on, let me fact check myself. And there's method behind my madness, because there always is, allegedly. This is the prequel to, yes, Her Vicious Beasts, which is the prequel novella to her Why Choose Shifter, which tick, that's both my team's prompts, is Why Choose Shifter series. But I did just very thankfully, and EP Barley, I so love and appreciate you that you accepted me for an ARC copy of your 3rd book in this series, Her Psycho Beasts, which, I mean, that just sounds like a fun time. And I'm hoping to binge read this entire series in this month. So they're gonna work because they're both shifters and they're Why Choose, and I've heard that they are a really fun time from Izzy from Happy For Now. She just binged them, and with the way my brain has been braining and work has been working and just feeling a bit burnt out, I just want something fun. And I think this is going to be the fun, completely addictive, make games, dramatic thing that I need. So I'm hoping, basically I'm hoping this series is going to be my make games for the year, like I discovered it last year. And now I'm rambling, so I'm going to get to some more reading. It's been fun chatting to you, and I will give you an update soonish to tell you what I'm doing. But yeah, that's what I'm reading and how I'm feeling. And it's kind of late. It's dinner time-ish, so I better go get Hayden off the Xbox so we can make burrito bowls for dinner. All right, I will speak to you in my next update. Good morning. It is Sunday, and Sunday is my get shit done day. I'm a poet, apparently. I'm rhyming already. Man, I really need to finish my coffee. So I thought I'd check in here and give you an update on how everything's going with the readathons. I did finish 2 more books, and the newspaper was just posted in the Discord. Well, probably not just posted, but I just woke up, so I haven't had a chance to look at it yet. Okay, excellent. Oh my god, that's so exciting. So my team, the ballet dancers, are currently ranked #1, so that's incredible. I will put a post of it here, and it says, for a weekly challenge, post a picture to Instagram or Discord of any book that has stolen your heart. Okay. There's a few I can think of, so I'll probably post that over on my Instagram this week. So we've unlocked a new ability through your impressive reading this week. Oh, we've got more than one ability. Okay, so we have receive a day of 2 times points for every book you submit. Reduce an attack by half the points. We've been getting attacked a lot, so we finally attacked the opera singers, I think. Immunity from attack. That's fun, because I finished a book last night. I was going to log that, but I will wait until the team decides what our 2-point day is, because that's exciting. So I think last time I was letting you know, I had Hayden help me dye my hair last night, and because of it, it is a bit strange. The curls are not really curling, so it'll be a bit crap for the next couple of days until I can wash it again. Anyway, books. Yes, I had let you know that I had started Fucking Ever After Volume 1 by Emily Rath, and oh, that was just the cutest thing I think I've ever read. Don't get me wrong, there was still a lot of high spice, steamy scenes, which we've come to expect from Emily Rath, but I just loved getting the domestic bliss elements of it, and they were, I think there was like 5 novella, not even novellas, like 5 extra chapters, like bonus chapters, so that was fun. And now I can pick up Fucking Wild whenever the mood strikes me for a hockey romance. And then, I should say, Fucking Ever After got me 248 points for the romance readathon and allowed me to complete my ordinary class for astronomy, which was a book released in the month you were born. So that's great. So I've completely finished that class because I only needed to get an O in astronomy. But yesterday I started and finished Her Soul to Take by Harley LaRue. This is the Fabled edition, and I completely love this one. So this is a paranormal romance following a girl named Ray who ends up back in her hometown as her parents retire to Spain, and it's kind of got this like creepy small town, but like there's been some heavy folklore happening. There's a possible death cult, and Ray is in college. I think she's in her final year, and she's trying to do the responsible thing and finish off her degree instead of following her parents overseas. And she is also a content creator. She does paranormal investigations on YouTube. She's kind of struggling at the moment because she tries to be as authentic as possible, and people who've started their channels later and kind of be a bit dramatic and fake are getting more views and stuff because it's entertaining. So she's back in town and wanting to kind of feed into the legends that are happening here so she can boost her YouTube career, so she doesn't have to like pack away her dreams and become a fully fledged adult and work an office job, which is the most heart-wrenching thing to have to think of as a creative person. And her friend runs a bookstore, and they had a collection of books come in donated from the local history society, and in there she finds what looks like a grimoire, and her friend just gives it to her as a welcome back gift. And some things happen. There's been a murder on campus. She's getting involved with the Hatfield family, who kind of are seeming to be a little too nice and run the town. And anyway, she's decided, fuck it, she's gonna play up the paranormal investigation if it gets her some views up so she can keep her channel going. And she ends up at this old abandoned church with the grimoire and decides that she's going to fake summoning a demon. And she's pretty sure it's gonna be fake because, I mean, she didn't say it in Latin, she translated it to English, and she's absolutely not gonna use his blood. But something happens and she ends up cutting herself, and she summons a demon who happens to be, surprisingly, the sexy bodyguard on campus named Leon. And this was so much fun. In terms of paranormal, it does really sink towards the horror side of it, which was really fun. And the spice in here is spicy. Like, there is a very much a like dom sub thing happening with Leon, and as I said, there's a death cult which is trying to raise a fallen god, and these creepy monsters are after Ray because she's been earmarked as one of the sacrifices. And I just loved the there's demons, and that's like an interesting take. So we had demons, archdemons, and reapers. We've already kind of been introduced to the couples in the next 2 books in the series. So what I like about this, it looks like obviously the big focal point of this whole series is raising the dying god. So each book is probably going to cross over in terms of events, which will be fun to see some of these events from the other characters' point of view. But really enjoyed this. Fun fact, Ray has glasses, and I guess the girly pop who has glasses. I enjoyed the fact that when she finally gets taken and thrown down a mine shaft, she loses her glasses, and it mentions like how discombobulated she is and that she can't really see anything, and I don't know, I just personally thought that was a really nice touch. So pretty excited to dive into the next one. Also loved that she has a cat named Cheesecake, and there is a scene in here where the Eld, which are the creepy monsters, trying to come after Ray, and to make matters worse, she's living in her parents' cabin, which is in the middle of the woods. No one lives near her, so talk about an isolated setting, and Cheesecake just runs out of the house for whatever reason, go after the Ild. I don't know if he's trying to protect Ray or just doing his own thing, and Leon races after Cheesecake and ends up hurting himself because he's trying to protect the cat. And I just love the relationship between Leon and Cheesecake, and we find out that demons get along well with cats because cats also are in the underworld, and I was like, of course they are. So yeah, very glad that I picked this up, and I probably don't have enough space in my TBR this month to squeeze in the rest of the trilogy, but they're going to be perfect October reads, so I will try and finish the trilogy next month. My latest obsession coffee-wise is, was it Nescafe? Has put together these like espresso concentrates, and it's the world's easiest iced coffee. You just put the espresso concentrate up to here and then put some milk up to the top, done. Iced coffee in less than a minute. It's amazing. And then I started last night The Heat of Us by Ileana Lee. Wasn't on my TBR, but I was definitely in the mood for an omegaverse, and I was in the mood to be back in this world. So we're following Hazel Wu, who is Juno's friend from the first book. We just love the diversity in this series. So we do have another Asian female main character, and again it's set in Melbourne, and we are learning more about Hazel. So Hazel's been Juno's best friend, and I love what we got to see from her. She seems to be this uber confident, nothing phases her kind of girl, but from the first chapter we get a hint of her childhood, or well, her teen years, and everything seems to be happy. She's loving life. You know, she found out that her long-term, long-distance boyfriend, who was her childhood best friend, just presented as an alpha. She's an omega. They seem to be fated mates, but obviously we know that Hazel has been through the bond dissolution program alongside Juno. So it's kind of like, wait a second, what's happened? Currently, and I won't spoil it, you know, once I give another update, I feel like he's either died, so she got rid of the bond that way, but then maybe bonds happen that way anyway, or while they were scent mated, it's not a perfect match because maybe he's not as charming. Yeah, it's probably going to be that one, I think. So Hazel at this time is making money as a cam girl. She's a content creator on OmegaFans, so think OnlyFans, and we've met the pack members. This is Build a Pack, which I do love in an Omegaverse. So she is going to start collaborating with an alpha who also does sex content online. His name is Ryder Hard, and they've decided to collaborate together. So it's very sex forward, sex positive, but the feelings and stuff are going to come in later. We then have Ben, who is Juno's brother, and I loved, so we saw them meet in the end of the Centerverse Part 2, and Ben was freaking out because, you know, he did this big grand gesture that he shaved his head so that he would look like his father as part of the interview expose where they exposed their dad for being a piece of shit. But then, bless his little soul, just the panic that he's met this woman who he's like instantly besotted with, but he doesn't look his best because he's lost his hair, and Juno's like, there's something seriously wrong with you. So we've met Ben, he is great, and then there's Alexei, and he's a beta, and he is like the concierge at a fancy building, and he is an absolute sweetheart. You know, he's Russian, and he is living with his alpha father who's a piece of shit, and his grandmother who is currently ailing. So he at the moment is working this job while also studying to become a nurse and taking care of his grandmother basically full time. So the poor thing is run off his feet. And yeah, I am having a really fun time at the moment. So currently we are very much in the early stages of the book. I'm on up to like chapter 10, but really enjoying it. And we are seeing that behind this like carefully constructed facade that Hazel has, even for Juno, but then especially like this very constructed facade she has as her Omega fan's personality, Sereno Echo, there are some cracks happening. Like, she isn't sleeping, she's having nightmares. She doesn't let alphas close. Like, she uses the heat service, and normally Omegas will find kind of a couple alphas that they trust to get along with and then use their services every time when a heat comes on, where she specifically will have a new alpha each heat cycle, which is particularly strange. So her collaborating with Ryder has seemed to be the first time in a long time where she's had multiple sexual encounters with the same alpha. So we'll be excited to see how this goes. This one is 400 pages. Yeah, so I'm only 81 pages in, but absolutely loving it. What else to tell you? It's Sunday. So I'm going to get stuck into editing my wrap-up video, which will hopefully will post, no, not hopefully, which I should be posting tonight. I've already done like the first gap edit where I go in and remove all the silences and ums and ahs and all that jazz. And then I now just have to go through and make sure my rambling nonsense is coherent and stick in the images. So that'll be fun. And then my mum and my brother Connor are coming over. We're going to go to the Jam Factory because it's the only cinema in Melbourne which seems to be playing Trap, that M. Night Shyamalan. I don't know if that's actually how to say his name. Anyway, Trap, the kind of horror suspense film. So yeah, that will be fun. But yeah, I will speak to you soon. See ya. Hey, just checking in with how my reading is going. I finished, what have I finished since I last spoke to you? I finished The Heat of Us by Ileana Lee, and guys, it was so perfect. If you love omegaverse, highly recommend this series. The first two were great, but this one was just extra level. What happened to Hazel was pretty devastating, and I love the way that she was able to open up to her pack, and I love the way that she'd kind of unofficially put a pack together without really wanting to. And Ben is the best. Oh my god, I love Ben. So Hazel, based on trauma, had been punishing herself and didn't really have a nice nest, and then she was coming up to her heat and feeling a bit shitty, and the other guys, Alex and Remy, were there, but she obviously felt safe around Ben, so she asked Ben to take her to her nest. Words are hard. And he notices that she's just got like a mattress on the floor, and then he just looks at her and goes, okay. He gets her to like cuddle up with Alex to watch true crime documentaries because she loves true crime, and they just get to cuddle on the couch while him and Remy go to like nest and heat, I can't remember what it's called. And the pair of these alphas are just like barking and shouting at each other to try and find like the stuff for her nest, and it was just so cute. I love the way this pack all kind of had deep familiar trauma, and I like how that was all sorted and how they're able to come together as this group. And yeah, I love them. They might just be my favorite pack, but completely adored it. It had me literally giggling and smiling 1 minute. Remy is hilarious, and the banter between the guys, perfection. Even Hazel gets in on it. Like, love it to pieces. And yeah, was like crying the next. So highly recommend The Heat of Us. It was just pure perfection, 5 stars. And then I was looking for an audiobook pick, so I picked up Blood Orange by Karina Halley, which is the first book in her Dracula duet, and I believe she's been doing a few retellings of Gothic tales. This is going to be, obviously it's perfectly Gothic, fits the vibes of the romance readathon, and it's going to be my ordinary prompt for something, which is shapeshifting. Yeah, I think it's shapeshifting, which was like color wheel decides the color of your title, and I got deep orange. This is as close as I'm getting. Blood orange is also a deep orange, so if we're going just based on the text, I think it works. And I had picked this up and read the first chapter like when I first got it, and really loved the vibes. The idea is that this is Dracula telling his story because Bram Stoker got it wrong. We get a chapter from Vaatu, who is telling us what actually happened and that he's here to set the record straight. And then we have a section from 1714 where it talks about Mina and what happened with Dracula, or Vaatu and Mina. And now we're in present day, and I get the vibe that our main girly pop, Dahlia, is Mina's reincarnation, and she's going to, I guess, rehumanize Dracula. But she is a witch slash vampire slayer, and she is in Venice and has been tasked by her coven to take Dracula down. So she is at a music conservatory because Dracula at this time is like moonlighting as a organ professor at this very prestigious conservatory, and I'm really kind of loving their banter. And I also love the fact that it's set at a music college, so it's giving me like dark academia vibes. We've got Dracula, so this is going to be my audiobook pick, and I am very, very excited. It's also a duet. The second book is out, so I probably won't pick the sequel up this month, but it'll be perfect for October. So yeah, that's how everything's going. I got some really good news at work today. I got two lots of good news, but I had to say no to one of the good news because I already had good news one. Yep, that makes sense. And I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to get my shit together and do some more writing. I really miss writing reviews, posting on Instagram, but pain levels have been down. So hopefully productivity is going to go up as I get some more energy back in my life. Although I do look like death today. And then also, what is this? I'm going through some like weird puberty zit moment in my fucking 30s. So yes, I love that for me. And yeah, I think I would love to pick up EP Barley's Her Vicious Beasts, because it's one of those Why Choose Paranormal Romance series that has been like in my peripheral that I've really been wanting to read. And the fact that I just got an arc of the third book means that I'm dying to pick that up. So might leave this one for audio for my trips to and from work. I will finish off the chapter I'm on because I'm not a monster. And then I say that as if I don't just leave books mid-sentences and mid-chapters all the time, but I will finish off the chapter because I'm interested. And we will hopefully read and finish his Vicious Beasts. Today, I'm going to take today off other content creation because I'm going to reward myself for the fact that the good news in a form of a job happened. And yeah, hopefully I can finish off the novella, and I will check in with you when I check in with you. All right, talk soon. Bye. Hello, welcome to a different angle in my apartment. It is the 12th. It's Thursday. It's the 12th of September, and I figured I would give you another update. I'm listening to the audiobook of Blood Orange by Karina Halley. Haven't read too much of it in the last couple of days, but I'm enjoying the gothic vibes. I love the fact that it's set at a music conservatory. We're still at the first 100 pages or so. They're trying to suss each other out, and yeah, a more traditional take on vampires, which I kind of like. They're dark, dangerous. They have some kind of blood den slash sex club setup, but there is always vampires on hand because these guys can give into the bloodlust and kill humans, and they're not supposed to kill humans because otherwise the witches come after them. And yeah, our witch Dahlia is just trying to make her mark, but apparently her mission's changed. She's supposed to, you know, kill Dracula, but now she's got to get close to Dracula and then find a couple of other vamps who have stolen a witch's grimoire, which is opening a portal into another world. So I'm enjoying this. Haven't yet picked up the EP Barley book, but I will this weekend because I'm excited. But I lied to you, and I have abandoned all reading plans as I picked up Dreadful Desires by Lucy Lark, and I am so loving this. This does give me the kind of Penny Dreadful vibes. It also gives me the kind of monster romance, Why Choose vibes of Kathryn Moon's Lady of Rooksgrave Manor. So in this we are following Rebecca Nightingale, who was a trained doctor. Her father is a doctor by trade and trained her, and at the start of the novel he is murdered. We do get the first chapter from his point of view as this guy pops up and wants his notes on this super secret project that he's been working on, but dear old dad says no. And then we go to Rebecca coming into the practice, and I love her. She does give me like Audrey from Stalking Jack the Ripper vibe. She's very headstrong. She kind of gives Not Like Other Girls vibes, but in a way that she's like super methodical and really into science and really wants to pursue her career, despite the fact that in this day and age, it's set in the late 1800s, that's happening. Her brother is a detective. He is working on Whitechapel, and Jack the Ripper seems to have popped up. So I do love like all the all the things it's giving me. And we have a couple of monsters in here. We're slowly kind of figuring out where we're at. We have a Scottish werewolf named Rory. There is Mr. Dorian Gray. There is Nikolai. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but I'm very certain he's our vampire. He's got the kind of Eastern European accent and all that things happening. And we have Sweeney, like Sweeney Todd. The way I giggled and just absolutely loved that. I don't know what type of monster he is apart from, you know, being a cannibal, but very excited. I am hoping to get some more of the way through this. It does change perspectives. The book doesn't really signpost that a perspective's been changed. It's either a new chapter or like a chapter break, but you can kind of find out pretty quickly whose point of view it is. So far, I think we've gotten obviously our girl Rebecca, and there was, I believe, one chapter from Dorian, and then Rory has had some stuff and things, but she finds out very quickly that dear old dad has kind of set up a blood bond with this gang of supernatural creatures, and for them to stay protected she needs to redo the blood bond, because once it's started it needs to be continued on with someone like same bloodline. So we're trying to figure out what happened to dear old dad. Rebecca's also found a notebook that her dad had had in a hidden safe in the floor, so she's trying to uncover that. Her dad's this quite eccentric madman and has encoded his work using a mix of languages, so Rebecca's trying to like piece that out, but absolutely loving this one. Sorry if my angle or anything's changed. I had to go complete the next step for dinner. For those who are interested, I am having pesto. It's supposed to be pesto gnocchi, but I didn't have any gnocchi, so just pesto pasta with chorizo and broccoli. It's very it's very easy. So it's one of my go-to meals. Anyway, super excited for this. I think I will spend the evening trying to finish this one just because I'm completely besotted. I did have some gummy bears and I bought myself some ice cream as a snack. Shouldn't have grabbed one of them. Anyway, that's probably my night spent. I'm a bit behind on all things content creation, but weekend's coming up. I've already kind of half edited this week's video, and then next week I'm only working 3 days. We'll be able to get some more content stuff done. It's also like extra quiet at work, so hopefully that means I have mental capacity to do other stuff and things. But I will be back with an update. My goal is to finish this and Blood Orange and potentially Her Vicious Beasts by midnight tomorrow, because tomorrow we get our double points for the ballet dancers for our being a winner. We are at the moment getting absolutely targeted left, right and center by the other teams. I mean, that makes sense given that we're currently in the lead. So I am hoping to finish that and then I can log them all, and yeah, I am gonna go grab my chorizo out of the oven before I burn it, and I will speak to you soon. It's been a hot second since I've checked in. You may have seen some of the b-roll from Saturday. So I did go to the Six with my family. I listened to one song and then I thought I'd treat myself to the experience when we went to the comedy theatre in Melbourne, one of my favorite venues, and it was so much fun. I did wish it was longer just because I was having such a fun time. I'm a history nerd, so and a big fan of rock opera, so it was the perfect melding of my interests. Fun fact, my favorite ever musical is Paris by John English, which is the rock opera about the Trojan War, and actually how my mum introduced me to the Trojan War. So the Six is in the same very niche subgenre of musicals, so completely adored it. Then got home and just did some reading, didn't really do anything, and then Sunday I had my general get shit done day. I did make cupcakes for my team because they're very sad that I got a new job, so I thought I would appease them them with baked goods. Red velvet with cream cheese frosting was the cupcakes of choice. Didn't take any b-roll of that, sorry. And then I did some reading and editing for last week's video. So I can't remember where we got to, but I did finish Blood Orange by Karina Halley. This, let me double check with the journal, but it did get me 454 points for the ballet dancers for the magical readathon, and it also was my qualifying prompt for shapeshifting, which was the color wheel determines the color of the title. The color we got was blood orange. The color of the title was dark orange. This is as orange as we're going to get, and blood orange is a dark orange, so counting it. And this ended on an interesting cliffhanger. I wasn't sure where we were going. Wasn't expecting that. Wild time. Vatu really does have to do some groveling in the next duet, and I'm interested to see what's happening. Really liked the take on the vampires in here. They're very much that kind of gothic sex, blood, danger type vampire. They do easily fall through to bloodlust, and wish we got a little bit more of the witches. I feel the plot kind of dipped once Dahlia and Vatu started banging. In terms of the sexy times themselves, was hot, quite dark, but I just kind of got the ick every now and then that Vatu like jumped into some hardcore S&M without any kind of discussion with Dahlia, and just the assumption about who he knows her as, that she would just be into it. So that kind of icked me a little bit, especially when it's coming from his point of view, because it kind of seemed like, you know, it's this or nothing, which was a bit gross. But anyway, wish we got more of the witchy stuff. Love the dark academia stuff, and I think the vampires in here are really cool. So in here, vampires are generally born because the turned vampires are too dangerous. Think, I'm gonna put another Twilight reference out there, think Jasper's army of newborn vampires. And women turn into vampires at 21, and men turn into their vampire form at 35. So yeah, very interested to continue on with the duology, given how it ended. Again, some of the sex stuff and the consent stuff, even though I've read a lot of like non-con, dubious dub-con, there was just something about this that rubbed me the wrong way, and I think it was because of the whole like fated mate, they're meant to be together, she's the love of my life. Yeah, it was a weird dichotomy which I wasn't super fan of. Then I finished Dreadful Desires by Lucy Lark, and this book was perfection. This is everything I want in a book. It's here. The best way I can describe it, it is definitely has the Penny of Dreadful vibe, which I absolutely love, but it also, if we're gonna like book math it, it's Penny Dreadful plus A Lady of Rooksgrave Manor by Kathryn Moon plus Stalking Jack the Ripper by Kerry Maniscalco. That's it, and it is amazing. I am obsessed. I love Bex. She is just this headstrong woman. She is trying to figure out who killed her father. Then once she realizes that her dad had some like weird blood pact with a bunch of supernaturals and discovers that the supernatural world exists, she becomes heavily invested. She's very logical thinker. She almost comes across as quite cold and calculated because she is ruled by her thoughts, and you know, she is attracted to all of them, especially after, you know, Dorian's carriage ride moment. And then there was a very steamy monster romance scene with the werewolf against a cage. Yeah, that was quite excellent. And loved all the nods to the gothic creatures. We had Dorian Gray, obviously. We had a werewolf. There was talk of a poltergeist. We have a vampire. We had Hugh Jekyll and James Hyde. And there was Sweeney, who I can only imagine is Sweeney Todd, which just was fantastic. Love this. Ended on a cliffhanger. I am now obsessed, but I'm also very depressed in the fact that I've combed the internet and I cannot find much of Lucy Lark. This is a pen name for Louise West, who I now have to go read. But Lucy Lark seems to have disappeared off the face of the internet, and despite having all the cute little QR codes, that doesn't bring up anything. So I really need to know what happens. I love this world. This book is exactly my book. I am so sad that it's been sitting on my shelf. It was really a rainy day book that I put off, and maybe if I read it sooner and hyped about it, I'd have the second book now. But now my mission in life is to make you all read this so that we get the second book. Or I might have to message Louise West, and just ask her what happens, or if she's got a draft. I promise I will not leak it. She can encrypt the crap out of it. I will give her my location. I don't know. I just really want to read the second book, which was supposed to be called Dreadful Delirium. How wonderful is that? So yes, please read this. It's fantastic. If we band together, maybe we'll get the second book. This wasn't for any of the prompts on the Magical Readathon, but it did give me 586 points for the romance readathon. Then I was very much in the mood for all things paranormal, Why Choose, which is honestly my default setting, but I finally picked up Her Vicious Beast by E.P. Barley, and first I will say I got 271 points for the romance readathon. This also was for my qualifying grade for the Art of Illusion, which I have ticked off for my qualification. This book, this series, is giving me the same campy, fun, time, wild ride that the Mate Games is giving me. It's a bit darker, so I am fully obsessed. This is the prequel novella, and we are following Aurella, who is a unknown anima. Now in this world, all the shifters are like referred to as anima for females and animus for males. But we have everything. We've got snake shifters, we've got eagle shifters, we've got shark shifters, we've got wolves, lions, bears, I shit you not, there is everything. And it is so good. So Aaliyah is the daughter of the Serpent King, who has been ostracized because she hasn't presented as a serpent, and in fact is presented and taken after her mother, and her father has basically ostracized her since she was 13, and she's just been working some odd jobs, getting her healing skills up, and is hoping to get out of Dodge the minute she can. And she is actually enrolled into a human/shifter university, and she's gonna change her life. She's been saving up for it, and she is going to live her best life. However, before she is about to leave, her father basically gives her services to this very old, kind of creepy eagle shifter called Charles Halfeather, I think it was, and he has a prisoner in his little mansion, in his little dungeon. There is a prisoner there, which none of his healers, which eagles, so all the shifters have a special magical ability. Eagles are supposed to be gifted at healing, and none of his eagles have been able to heal this unknown entity prisoner, and she is going to do it. Her father has kind of gifted her, and it's going to clear off her dad's debts, which thanks dad, and she does it because she is this unknown entity. She's got to keep it locked down. So to kind of protect them, they've got shields. So normally, you know, 1 or 2 shields. This woman's walking around with like 7 shields. She's blocking her scent, she's blocking her mate mark, which is this tattoo on the side of her neck. That's another thing. When she presented as this unknown mysterious shifter thing, she went to the oracle and found out about her mates. So in this world, why choose situation is possible. You can either be a Regina, which is the woman, multiple mates, or a Rex, men, multiple mates. She's a Regina, and we found out that she has 5 mates, all from 5 different shifter classes, which is a dead giveaway for her magic secret animal ability. So she basically has to never find them. But she's been told by the oracle that it's fine because 2 of them are very dangerous and 2 of them are already in prison. Back to the mansion. So she's down there in the prison where she's trying to heal this guy from this like dark magic, which is kind of giving like snaky magic things, where, plot twist, she recognizes 3 of her mates. And it is so good. I am obsessed. I finished that off. I'm now 25%. Am I? Clarifying. I'm now 26% of the way through Her Feral Beasts, and it is so good. I love the way that this prequel novella really sets it up. Like, you could read it either before the first book or after the first book. And after the events of the little prequel novella, Aurelia was on the run. She was a fugitive. Her mates think that she may have been responsible for trying to kill them because her slimy snake dad, pun fully intended, told them that she was responsible, and now they've been hired to capture her so her dad can kill her. Fun times. And she ends up in this Aurelium Academy, which is a university to try and reform feral or vicious beasts. And it is like a prison school meets dark academia. I am so excited. I love Aurelia. I hope she kind of gets, her father's treated her like shit for starters, and I just really hope she finds a safe space. I love that she's found a friend in Minnie, I think it is, who is a tiger shifter. I love in the boys. It is given bully romance, which apparently I only like if it's also a paranormal why choose academia setting. It's amazing. They are unhinged. So we have Savage, who is a wolf shifter who has an emotional support rooster. Yeah, that is incredible, and I freaking love that. And he named the rooster Eugene. Then we have his brother, because his mum and dad are from different races, whose name is Scythe, and he's a shark shifter. And they're very cautious of him because normally the marine shifters don't leave water for very long, and he's just like walking around, and he's like kind of this like mafia kingpin, where like Savage is just his like brutal enforcer. So love him. And I feel like at this point in time he's like 17 steps ahead of everybody, and just so excited for him. And then we have Xander, who is our dragon shifter, and I think they mentioned it's like through a fight or something, he can't see, he doesn't have eyes. His magical ability has these like glowing white orbs, so he can see, otherwise he's got a fantastic hearing and can navigate no problem. And he goes full berserker mode if he's away from his music, so he constantly has earbuds in and will be listening to anything from like Mongolian throat singing to like the newest metalcore band. And I, again, love him. He's very grumpy, very pissed off. And the way that in the prequel novella, she kind of knows it's her mates, even though she needs to stay away. And like she gets Scythe some pants, because for whatever reason, he's chained up in the dungeon naked. So she buys him some pants and brings it to him. She gets Savage some chocolate. She downloads some extra music for Xander to have. And then even when they are like trying to hunt her down, they think she's an eagle at this stage, which is what they keep saying her mother's preferred form. So I'm thinking she's going to be like a chimera, or she has like an ability to be like everything. Anyway, and even when they catch her, Savage's wolf is so besotted with her that even as he catches her, he still like has stolen a handbag and like gives it to. It's amazing. I'm obsessed, as you can tell. It is going to be my new obsession, and I'm so excited because I'm going to Babe next year. I'm also going to Dark Delights in Brisbane, which is another signing convention. First year it's running. And EP Barley is going to both of those, so I am definitely going to pre-order the hardbacks with the stenciled edges because your girl is extra. And I also luckily have an ARC of her Psycho Beast book 3, which, judging by the way it's happening, I'll be zooming through this series. I am obsessed. So yeah, that's where I'm going with this. I found 2 excellent series. Again, wonderful. Love them. Loving it. These are just me books all over. So I am going to go and do some live stuff. I have to make some dinner, have to do some dishes, have to write some reviews, but I'm feeling a little bit more with it. I'm feeling a little bit more inspired, so having a bit more energy, so we'll see how we go. Anyway, I will speak to you soon. See ya. Hello, I am checking in for the last update for this vlog. So it's currently the 18th of September, so it's kind of given us like the first 2 weeks of the Romance Readathon and the Magical Readathon. However, I am on annual leave for the next 5 days, so I've already got a plan to do like a reading challenge vlog for the next 5 days, so I figured I'd wrap this one up and then yes. So the only update I have is that I completely finished and devoured Her Feral Beast by EP Barley, and I am obsessed. This series is my new obsession. It's my mate games of the year, and I completely love it. Thank God it's been very quiet at work because I have been reading while at work. Just in between tasks. Like I'll do a little task at work, I'll read a couple chapters, do a little task, read a couple chapters, and it's been great. I then stayed up way too late last night, finishing the book, crying my eyes out, and then having to read the next 4 chapters of the second book, Her Rabid Beast, just to make sure everyone was okay. So I just completely adore that, and I believe it's set in Australia. At least I'm getting that vibe from the second book more so than the first book. And Aurelia, who is a unknown shifter, she's the daughter of the Serpent King, but it is claimed that she takes after her mother, who is an eagle. But we get the vibe that is something with her particular animal shifter that is very powerful, and she is trying to keep it a secret because her father seems to threaten her that if it is discovered she is going to be hunted down and chained and bred for the rest of her life, so that's not super fun. And in this world they've got what looks like mate marks, and she's got a skull on the side of the neck with like 5 lights. I don't know, there's 5 marks around it. And yeah, so it's why choose. And we have like a rejected mates situation. I just completely love Savage. He's our wolf shifter, and he gives like this manic combination of golden retriever and psychopath, and I didn't know that was a combination I needed until I read Savage, but I completely adore him. I'm hooked. I'm going to continue the series. I even love the female friendship in here. So once Aurelia presented her animal, no spoilers here, she was then outcast by her father, lost her title, and was kind of shipped off to a aunt and only used to help healing because her dad runs like kind of this like shady underground. And ever since she was 13, she's never been to school. Like, he pulled her out of school. She hasn't had any friends. She's not allowed to talk to anyone. She has no money except for what little she's been able to get from working at her aunt's grocery store. And the way that so I should say it's set at a reform school, so it is a university for rabid, savage, and criminal animalia. I think that's what they're called, shifters essentially. I'm gonna say shifters. So there's the animus and the animia, I think. I'm not sure. So male and female. And it was essentially made for males, but in the last few years they've had females join, and it's essentially anyone who spends too long in their beast form has trouble turning back into humanity and can become rabid. So their deputy headmaster is well renowned for rehabilitating rabid shifters. From the sounds of it, they are a species that is out and the wider public know about them, so they've got to do a good job at kind of keeping their image clean, because humans think they're dangerous, mindless beasts, so this school is a way to do that. So females have been slowly introduced to this academy, and it does feel slightly like a light omegaverse in the fact that they go into heats. So for 1 week a month they are kind of locked into their dorms and they take online classes, and there was just this beautiful like camaraderie between the girls that popped up, and they had like sleepovers and they were chatting, and it was just really beautiful. And the way they kind of band together to help Aurelia, it's just so beautiful. And yeah, I'm completely fascinated by this world. I love that we've got multiple shifters. So we've got marine animals, we've got sharks, we've got snakes, we've got birds of all feathers, wolves, every type of big cat, and dragons. So yeah, completely obsessed. I probably not very coherent, but very much enjoying it. Will be interested to see, because it's giving that whole rejected mates bully romance. We know why Aurelia has been pushing her mates away. They now know why. So it'll be interesting to see how they reconcile that, and how she can apologize to them, but also how they can grovel for the shit that they've put her through, including being hired by her father to hunt her down and bring her back for execution. So yes, this series is pretty much gonna derail my entire month plans, which is great for me in one aspect, because I did get approved for an arc for the 3rd book, her Psycho Beast. So yeah, I will be writing some reviews, and then I will be able to get to her Psycho Beasts very soon. It does mean that I'm kind of laxing on the magical readathon front. So let's have a look at the stats, shall we? Consulting the journal. We've read 9 books this month, which is wild. And I think I included 8 of those for the romance readathon, only because one of them was Iron Flame, and I'd read most of it realistically in August, but that was a fun time. Really enjoyed that, and I'm looking forward to Onyx Storm. Anyway, so that's 8 books for the romance readathon. I'll do a little b-roll through the journal. Completed 5 of the magical readathon prompts. I've got my grade that I need for astronomy and art of illusion, and I am almost completed the shape-shifting prompt. Have not at all started my animal studies or restoration, so hopefully I can get through that. Unfortunately, the 2 books that are the ordinary prompt for both animal studies and restoration are chunky books. Like I'm talking 700 to 800 pages, but those will be the first books I pick for my reading challenge to get that sorted. And then once those are kind of unlocked, I've got audiobook options. So I should be able to get through the rest of those for the end of the month. There we go. So these are the physical books I've read, and I think I've had a crazy high rating. Like I found 2 new series that I'm obsessed with. Her Vicious Beast series by A.P. Barley, The Monsters of Whitechapel by Lucy Lark, which again, this is seriously like a perfect book for me, and absolutely devastated that we have no ETA on the second book. So yes, comment down below and let me know how your reading month's going. What's been your favorite book of September so far? And if not, you can leave me a shark emoji. Is there a shark emoji? Hold on. Yes, leave me the shark emoji for our beautiful psychopath mob boss shark shifter Scythe. Please like and subscribe if you want to see more content from me. I'll be posting new videos every Sunday. Linked in the description box below will be all the books and any reviews if I have them, along with links to my social media channels if you'd like to talk to me or follow me on any other corner of the internet. That's all for me today, guys. I hope you're doing all kinds of well, and I will speak to you soon. See ya!